All right, hello once again. Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over, in my own way, a payroll program to try to show some of the, or several payroll programs, the iterations of the same program, to try to show some Java fundamentals based off, at least loosely based off of our PDF that we have, which is Gaddis's Java with Early Objects, 6th edition. And I wrote my first truly object-oriented program, and now I want to come in and I want to, in this driver here, what I basically want to do is create some objects. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I don't have to do it again, but I'm going to import javax.swing.jOptionPane. All right, you know we do that. So again, this is for show input dialog and show message dialog. All right, so let's come in and start doing some work here. Let's start by, let's instantiate 5 different payroll objects to test valid and invalid conditions. All right, so I'm going to do 1 or 2 of these, or maybe just 1, and then run it so you can see if it works, then another, and run it, and another, and run it, etc. So let's start with all fields valid, no overtime pay. So payroll, that'll be me, Jeff equals new payroll, and we will add my first name, my last name, my hours worked, and my hourly rate. Okay, so that's me. And then, now that we've done that, let's see here, object, payroll, object number 1. All fields valid, no overtime pay. All right, so now that I've done that, let's display the Jeff payroll object information. And since we have gone out rather, and overridden this, all I have to literally say is jOptionPane dot show message dialog no. Sure, I'm getting an error there. I cannot resolve that symbol. jOptionPane dot show message dialog. I think I spelled it all correctly. Huh. Java X swing jOptionPane. That is correct. Let's try it like this. Let's remove that. Okay, good. Alt enter. Alt enter. There's our import Java X swing. Again, that's more than we actually need. We'll just leave it there for now. That's good. All right, why am I not getting the show message dialog? Dot Well, I'm going to put this in anyway. Null, so it's in the center of the screen. And payroll object Jeff info. And then just Jeff dot to string. Well, this is very strange. It's not being able to resolve these symbols. I know why, and so do you. All right, let's grab everything that we put in here and remove it. Tab, PS, V, tab. Now let's put it back in. I didn't have my main in there. And we'll fix whatever the problem is that still exists in here. All right. So null. That should be a plus. All right. There we go. So, if this worked, this should be calling the constructor in the other file that provides for 4 pieces of information. And what is it doing? Well, there's all 4 pieces of information there. So, it should call set first name and pass it Jeff, set last name and pass it Scott, set hours worked and pass it 40, set, that should be hourly rate, and pass it 25. Add 1 to my employee count. Okay, then when it does the toString, it should be saying first name Jeff, last name Scott, hours worked 40.0, I think. Hourly rate, $25.00, gross pay, $1,000,000.00, if everything was correct. All right, so let's see if that works. Let's do a save all, and do a run, and run. Jeff info, Jeff, Scott, 40, 25, 1,000. Looks good to me. And it exited normally. All right, so that one worked. Let's just continue on. All right, now I'm going to let these just keep cascading on here. So I'm going to have 5 when I get all done. All right. So let's try to make it as easy on myself as possible here. So this will be payroll object number 2, all fields valid, with overtime pay. So we'll make this Sandy. She worked 50 hours a week, or 50 hours, and she makes $50 an hour. All right, and this will be Sandy info. All right, so let's try that. Run my driver. I'll get my Jeff stuff like I did before. And here's my Sandy stuff. All right, you can tell if you take a quick look at it that there was overtime, 10 hours worth of overtime, 10 hours at $75, so $750 of that was overtime. Now, I'm not showing it yet, but one thing I can add into this, or I should be able to add, hopefully, is output string, print total gross pay. Don't know if it'll take it like that or not, so let's check. I think I need to give it the name of an object. So can I say Sandy dot print total gross pay? Looks like it. Let's try this one more time. See if it adds the 1,000 to the 2750. File, save all, run the driver. There's me, there's Sandy, and it's not printing out the final totals. We'll have to work on that. I'm not going to worry about that right now, though. All right, so for now, let's just take that line and comment it out. All right? Okay, so we've got our first two payroll objects. So now we'll do payroll object number 3. And what we will do in here is we will put an invalid hours figure in here. So this will be a Taylor. All right. I'm just going to put in here invalid hours. Okay, so Taylor, and the hours, remember, had to be between 0 and 84. So let's make this 150. Okay, and then we'll display the Taylor info. All right, now this should reset the hours to 0. 0 times 50, unfortunately, is going to give her 0 hours or $0 in her gross pay, but that's not what's important. We want to make sure all of our stuff is working. There's Jeff, there's Sandy, there's Taylor. Hours worked, 0. It reset that illegal value. All right, let's do another one. So this will be object number 4, and this will be an invalid rate. We'll make this a Kenzie. My daughter Mackenzie goes by both names. And we'll make that 150. All right, so a lot of mistakes in here. Jeff, Sandy, Taylor, and Kenzie. That's better. This should also reset that to 0. So again, I should have another gross pay of 0 when I get done. So the second and third one should both be 0. Mine should be valid, no overtime. Sandy's is valid, overtime. Taylor's invalid, hours worked reset to 0, so gross pay is 0. Kenzie, hourly rate was out of whack, so it was reset to 0, so gross pay is 0. Let's do one more. And this will be Chloe. No inputs. Defaults should be used. All right, so this will be Chloe. And we'll put nothing in there. Now, if this worked, we should have, what is it, unknown FN, unknown LN, 0 and 0 for those values. Valid, valid, invalid, invalid. There you go. Unknown FN, unknown LN, 0, 0, and 0. All right. All appears to be working. Okay. Now, before we go back in and try to figure out that final payroll stuff, which is not working, all right, before we go in and do that, let's make some changes. So we printed out Taylor's stuff, and it was invalid, right? So let's go in here and let's do a Taylor dot set hours worked, and we'll set that equal to, I don't know, 70. All right. And now we'll display updated hours for payroll object Taylor. All right. So the first time we go through and print this, we should have 0 for Taylor's gross pay. The second time, it should be updated with the hours. So there's the 0. Now it's been updated, 70, 50, so she's even got her overtime. All right, now let's do the same thing with Mackenzie. So, Kenzie dot set hourly rate. Let's make that 100. All right. And now we'll display Kenzie. Let's make this display updated Taylor info. Display updated Kenzie info. Updated rate for Kenzie. Kenzie. All right, let's check that out now. Valid, valid, invalid, change to valid, invalid. Something's goofed up there. I think I changed it in the wrong area. Yes, I did. This Kenzie.set hourly rate, let's see. Yep. So let me move this up to here. All right, so we'll have her initial info. And then her updated info. So I'll put a message here. Update Taylor object. Make hours worked valid. And this will be update Kenzie payroll object, make hourly rate valid. And that should say Taylor payroll. All right, now let's try it. Jeff should be valid, no overtime. Sandy should be valid with overtime. Taylor invalid hours. Taylor fixed hours. Kenzie invalid hours. Kenzie fixed hours. And Chloe. So let's update Chloe now. This should go here. All right. So I'm just going to just steal this stuff from right here. Put that down here. All right, so update Chloe payroll object. Make all fields valid. All right, so this will be, we will set her hourly rate, and we'll set that to, I don't know, 40. So we will set her hourly rate to 40. We will set her hours worked. We'll keep that at 40 also. How about 40.0, 0.0? Let's give her some overtime. How about 60? Oops, these two are backwards, I'm sorry. The order really doesn't matter. But we'll set the first name to Chloe. And we will set the last name to Scott. All right. Update all for Chloe. Chloe.toString. And Chloe. All right. Let's take one more look. Run. Valid, valid, invalid to valid, invalid to valid, invalid to valid. Everything in here is working. And I mixed those up so she didn't get any overtime, but we can change that to hours work. We'll make that 60. All right. Save all and run it one last time. There we go. So the only thing that's not working right now is when we're all done to print out our total gross pay. And I'm wondering, I could be wrong here, so let's take a look. If I make this static, that's going to mean I have to make that static too. I don't like doing that, but I didn't have to do this though. I had to name the object dot. Yeah. Print total gross pay. Let's see. Should fix that error that's down here, I believe. And it did. All right. So let's see now when we're all done. I'm going to go back to here. And now I want to see if I'm able to say payroll dot print total gross pay. But I have to actually print it, so let's try it. Save everything, and let's run it. You know by now what these outputs are going to look like. And it still is not. It's not printing them. By making that static, I did not have to call it from an object. So payroll.print total gross pay, which I would have thought would have called this. Oh, I know what it is. I need to say system.out this. System, no. J option pane dot show message, dialog, show message, dialog, null, and I need one more paren there. Now let's see if that worked. Total number of employees 5, total payroll 17,700. I'm not sure if that number's right, but I have no reason to doubt that it is right. All right, so what I have done here, I'm getting up in time already, but what I have done in this example is I have come in here and created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different payroll objects. So each one of these is instantiating or creating an object based off of the payroll class. The first one calls constructor 3, which passes in 4 valid values, and there is no overtime. The second one calls constructor 3 and passes in 4 valid values where there is overtime. The third one passes in 3 valid values, first name, last name, and hourly rate, but an invalid value for hours worked. All right, then we change it by calling set hours worked to a valid value. Okay, our fourth object has got 3 valid fields. Valid first name, valid last name, valid hours worked, but invalid rate. All right, so we reset the rate, and the fifth one has nothing passed to it, and we reset all of them. Let's try one more. All right, and I'll use the family dog. All right, so we'll call this, believe it or not, the dog's name is Olive. No names, invalid, hours, and rate. So, no name, invalid, invalid. All right, so we'll try that last one here. And when we do this, we're also going to watch. Okay, 1,000 plus 2750, so that is $3,750. That would make that 8,000, 13,500, 13,900. There we go. Looks good. When I come back, I am going to use the same program here, this same program, but I'm going to rewrite the driver or at least attempt to rewrite the driver, so that the driver will use arrays. All right, and I will have, I've just thought of this kind of in my head. I'm going to have at least 3 different arrays. All right, so I'll come back with that very shortly, and this will be number 7. So let's very quickly. Okay, because we are really at, I've been going back and forth in here myself. All right. We have now finished Chapter 6. All right, or at least what I'm going to cover. We did objects and classes. We wrote a class. We did instant fields and methods. We did constructors. We didn't pass an entire object. I don't think we did, but maybe we did. We did overloading. We talked a little of scope, and you saw packages. So you've gotten all that stuff. So in the next chapter here, it's going to be arrays. So we will work with arrays. I'm not going to really do anything with array lists in here right now, but I will do the array stuff that's here. We'll have an array, a couple of arrays of strings. Okay? And I think that's about it for this chapter. And then when we get done, the next one will be a second look at classes and objects. And we've actually hit on almost everything that's here already. All right? At least what I'm going to cover on for right now. So we're going to jump, after that, we're going to jump right into Chapter 9. And we're going to break away and do a different program that is not, does not have anything to do with the payroll program. We'll write a different one. All right? I'll be back with that very shortly.